So figure skating's having a really big moment right now, what with I, Tonya and the Olympics coming out, but I'm particularly excited because I used to be a figure skater, so this one might be my favorite episode yet. A figure skater's dress can tell you a lot about what comes next. Back in the 90s, the tabloid rivalry of Nancy Kerrigan and Tonya Harding played out in their wardrobes. Kerrigan was the elegant ice princess in custom Vera Wang, while Harding was the scrappy outsider in flashy homemade dresses that critics called cheap and trashy. But a skater's reputation is only part of the story. For instance, if you're in an ice rink and you hear this, there's almost a 100% chance the skater is wearing red. That's the opera Carmen. It's been one of figure skating's most popular music choices for decades. And this? No, it's gotta be green. There's white for Swan Lake, orange or red for Firebird, and blue for... well, duh. Nowadays, these are just facts skaters take for granted, but there's actually a pretty interesting history of figure skating fashion. Skating actually goes way back to 3000 BC, when Scandinavians carved blades out of animal bones. But skating fashion can be traced back to Victorian England, when a growing middle class with more leisure time and disposable income began taking up skating as a pastime. Back then, women wore modified versions of the fashions of the time. Dresses were slightly less restrictive than usual, and skirts were less voluminous and hemmed at the ankle. By the mid-1920s, ladies figure skating had found its first star, Sonja Henie. She first competed in the Olympics at age 11, and later shocked audiences when she raised the hem of her costume from ankle to knee to be able to execute jumps and spins. She's also responsible for one of the longer-lasting trends in figure skating, white skates. From then on, skating dresses followed many of the same trends as fashion as a whole. Sleeves and skirts got shorter, colors got brighter, and by the 60s, spandex made moving around in them much more comfortable. Still, up until the 80s, they were often homemade and relatively light on the embellishments. When Peggy Fleming took home gold for the USA at the 1968 Grenoble Olympics, the first ever to be broadcast in color, she did so in a chartreuse dress, hand-sewn by her mother. Dorothy Hamill also wore a homemade dress in 1976. Of course, that understated look didn't really last long after that. The 80s were all about over-the-top glitz. Well, until the sport tried to put a stop to it. In 1988, the International Skating Union implemented a new dress code, allowing judges to deduct points for costume they deemed too theatrical and not modest or dignified enough for competition. Women were also required to wear skirts, a mandate unofficially known as the Katharina Rule, after East German gold medalist Katharina Witt scandalized judges in a showgirl-style feathered leotard that year. The skirt rule was only dropped in 2003. What followed the rule was a new trend of celebrated fashion designers collaborating with skaters. Vera Wang, a former figure skater herself, was known for working with Michel Kwan, while Christian Lacroix made dresses for French favorite Saria Bonelli. In recent decades, taking inspiration from the red carpet has become increasingly popular, while silhouettes have become more varied. So today, you'll see sleeveless dresses, open backs, unitards, and once taboo colors. Yellow, for whatever reason, was never a popular choice. Today's costumes are also a far cry from the simple styles Fleming and Hamill wore in another important respect. At the Olympic level, they typically cost between $1,500 and $5,000, and you have to wear a different dress for every program. All these sparkles don't come cheap. One thing that I really hope you all do after watching this video, besides liking and commenting and subscribing and whatever, is go fall into a really long YouTube hole of skating programs. Some of my favorites are Michel Kwan's 2002 Olympic short program, Sasha Cohen's 2006 Olympic short program, and Jason Brown's 2014 long program at US Nationals. Hope you like Riverdale.